Ringer is a sitting duck. A piercing tone slices through Voodoo's helmet. Missile launch, two inbound, his own jet screams at him. On his display, 2 diamond-shaped symbols are climbing fast, closing the distance with terrifying speed. He watches a concussive boom rock his wingman's aircraft, a wave of razor, sharp shrapnel tearing through the Hornet's fuselage. A dozen red and amber lights flash across Ringer's console. The battle against the Sea Dragon is over. The battle for survival has just begun. It's 2:15 local time, and the South China Sea is a black mirror under a sliver of moon. Inside the cockpit of an E-18 Growler, Lieutenant Commander-elect Voodoo Kenna, a focused black American pilot, feels the jet shudder. They are flying at 100 feet, so low the aircraft's skin is slick with salt spray kicked up by its own engine wash. The digital altimeter is a number he feels in his bones, too low. Any lower and a rogue wave could clip a wing. Any higher and they are dead. No climb, no paint, he murmurs into his oxygen mask, a mantra for the mission. To his left, the lights of his wingman, an A-18E Super Hornet flown by Lieutenant Jake Ringo. Gallo, a determined young white American pilot, are a ghostly presence, keeping perfect formation in the dark. They are the tip of a very expensive spear, code-named Operation Silent Talon. Their target, a brand new, supposedly impenetrable sea dragon. Surface-to-air missile battery, the AK-29, recently installed on the volcanic shores of the fictional Dragon's Tooth Island. Voodoo isn't the trigger puller. He's the locksmith, and his job is to pick the electronic lock so Ringer can kick the door down. But the lock isn't even trying to stop them. His threat warning display is clean, eerily clean. Status Voodoo. Ringer's voice is calm, but the tension is a live wire between their 2 jets. Still green, Ringer. They are not looking, or they can't see us. Voodoo scans his instruments. Fuel is ticking down. They are deep inside their operational window, a point of no return where turning back is no longer an option. They have just enough gas to strike and make it to a tanker waiting hundreds of miles away. There is no room for error. 150 miles away, inside a reinforced concrete bunker buried in the rock of Dragon's Tooth Island, the air is cool and smells of ozone and fresh paint. Captain Chen Y of the People's Liberation Army watches his lead weapons officer, Lieutenant Sun Lai, monitor her console. The primary search radar, Sky Shield, sweeps the horizon, its display a placid, spinning green line. Anything, Lieutenant? Chen's voice is quiet, measured. He is a veteran of a dozen exercises, but this is his first live command of a system his superiors have called the Guardian of the South. Sun Lai shakes her head, her eyes never leaving the screen. Nothing, Captain. The sea clutter is at nominal levels. The horizon is clear. The system is designed to defeat this very kind of attack. Its computers can filter out the clutter of waves and whether to find cease, giving threats theoretically. Chen places a hand on the back of her chair. Theory is for the classroom, Lieutenant. They will not come from high altitude. They will come from the waves. Keep your gain settings manual. Trust your eyes, not just the algorithm. Sun Lai nods, her fingers dancing across the control panel, subtly adjusting the sensitivity. She feels a flicker of professional pride mixed with a deep, gut-wrenching anxiety. The honor of her unit rests on this screen, on her. For a split second, a single pixel flashes amber at the extreme edge of the radar's reach, just above the noise floor of the sea. She almost dismisses it, a ghost, a flock of seabirds, but Chen's words echo in her mind. Captain, she says, her voice a notch higher. Possible contact, bearing 190, very low, very fast, in Voodoo's cockpit, a high-pitched chirp screams in his headset. A single yellow light flashes on his display, Dragon's Eye. The enemy's fire control radar just peaked, a millisecond, long probe. Spike, Dragon's Eye, 190, Voodoo announces, his heart hammering against his ribs. His fingers fly across his panel, commanding the powerful NL-K9 jamming pods under his wings to life. They see us, stand by for jamming. Ringer in the Hornet next to him toggles a switch on his throttle. Master Armon, I have the shows ready to go. The GEM 150 for a joint standoff weapon is a glider bomb. It needs to be launched from a distance, outside the missile's lethal range. But they also have a backup, the GEM 80 8 Harm, a missile that homes in on a radar's emissions, a radar hunter. Negative, Ringer, hold your fire, Voodoo commands. Let's see what they do. I don't want to waste the Harm until he's fully committed. This is the deadliest kind of poker. Voodoo is betting that the brief radar glimpse was not enough for a lock. He's betting that the enemy operator is hesitating, second, guessing that ghost on her screen. Back in the bunker, Sunlight struggles to keep the flickering contact. It's fading, Captain. The signal is intermittent. I can't establish a track. The target is exploiting the curvature of the Earth, dancing on the razor's edge of the radar horizon. One moment it's there, a faint whisper of reflected energy. The next, it's swallowed by the sea. Captain Chen leans closer. Is it one target or two? The resolution is too poor. It could be a single, larger aircraft or a tight formation. Sunlight feels a bead of sweat trace a path down her temple. The system's automated threat library is blank. The contact doesn't match any known profile. This is the friction of real battle, the terrifying gap between the manual and the moment. Stay on it, Chen orders. The moment you have a stable track, I want a missile lock. No warnings, we fire. The volcanic spine of Dragon's Tooth Island now fills the pilot's forward view, a black mass blotting out the stars. They are entering the final phase. Push time, 10 miles to Seoul launch point. Voodoo calls. Time to get their attention. He doesn't wait for another peak. He activates the full might of his jamming suite. Music on, he says, the brevity term for beginning electronic attack. In the bunker, the world turns to white noise. Sunlight gasps as her pristine green radar scope is instantly filled with a blizzard of digital snow. A deafening roar of static fills the ops room, jamming, full spectrum barrage, she yells, shielding her eyes from the glare. We've lost all contacts. Sky shield is blind. Captain Chen doesn't flinch. Emergency protocols. Shut down the emitter. Go to passive receive. Reboot Dragon's Eye on a new frequency, now. He knows this is the classic opening move. The enemy is blinding him so they can't strike. The reboot will take 90 seconds. 90 critical seconds. Voodoo sees the enemy radar signal vanish from his board. He's down. Ringer, your call. Harm opportunity is now. Fire on the last known position. Roger, Magnum. Ringer shouts as he squeezes the trigger. From the Hornet's wing, the EA-18 Harm missile drops, its rocket motor igniting with a brilliant white flash. It rockets ahead, its seeker head scanning, hunting for the radar emissions it was born to kill, but there's nothing to find. The Dragon's Eye radar is silent, its parabolic dish motionless as its software reboots. The Harm, denied its food, has no choice but to follow its last command. It flies ballistically, an unguided rocket, screaming over the island and impacting harmlessly in the sea miles beyond. Aboard the Growler, Voodoo watches the missile's signature disappear. Splash 1, no effect, he reports, his voice tight with frustration. Seeker broke lock, the radar went dark too fast, a strategic gamble failed, the 90-second clock in the enemy bunker is ticking. At that exact moment, 50 miles behind Voodoo and Ringer, 2 more Super Hornets, call signs Hunter 3 and 4, are making their own run. They were the second punch, timed to arrive just as the enemy's attention was fixed on the first pair. Their angle of attack is different, a flanking maneuver designed to exploit any blind spots. In the bunker, the static on the main screen vanishes. Sky shield is down, Sunlight reports, her hands flying, Dragon's Eye rebooting. 60 seconds remaining, Captain Chen paces behind her. The first missile was a probe, an anti-radiation missile. They know we are here, and they know we are not foolish enough to leave our radar on. He stops, staring at the blank tactical map. They were trying to force our hand. The main attack is still coming. He points to a sector on the map, southwest of their position. That is where they will come from, the terrain there. The western ridge will mask their approach until the last second. As if on cue, the passive listening system, designed to detect radio and electronic signals without transmitting any, springs to life. New signals, Sunlight announces, aircraft data link, 2 more bearing 2, 4, 5, they are talking to each other. Chen's blood runs cold. It's a classic SEAD tactic, a wild weasel team to draw fire and a shooter team to deliver the ordnance. The reboot, Lieutenant, how much longer? 30 seconds, Captain. Voodoo and Ringer are now screaming towards the island's rocky coast. Their primary weapon, the harm, has failed. Now they must rely on Ringer's shows. But to launch them, they need to pop up, just for a few seconds, to give the glider bombs enough altitude to find their targets. Stand by for pop-up, Voodoo commands. Hunter 3 and 4 are inbound. We need to clear the lane for them. Well hit the launchers. Thale hit the command bunker. Copy. Ringer replies, his knuckles white on the stick, popping in 3, 2, 1. He pulls back gently, and the Super Hornet leaps from 100 feet to 800 feet. For a terrifying moment, they are exposed. The island's terrain rushes up at them. Ringers targeting pod display locks onto the heat signatures of the 3 Sea Dragon missile launchers parked in their revetments. Tally-ho, I have the launchers, he calls out. His thumb hovers over the pickle button, but then Voodoo's voice, sharp and urgent, cuts through. Check fire, Hunter 3 is in the basket. On the tactical display, the icon for the friendly wing, Hunter 3, is crossing directly through Ringer's line of fire to the target. He had popped up a few seconds early on his own attack run, eager to get a shot at the command bunker. Damn it, Ringer growls, he can't shoot, and so is a fire. And forget weapon, once launched, he can't call it back. And the cone of possible fragmentation from its impact could shred his wingman. He is forced to hold. In the bunker, the countdown ends. Dragon's Eye is active. Sunlight shouts. The fire control radar screen flashes to life. And on it, blinking in angry red, are 2 perfect targets. Lock. I have lock on both targets, she yells. Range 15 kilometers. Altitude 800 feet. Captain Chen's voice is iron. Engage. Fire 1. Fire 2. Outside, the ground shakes as 2 Sea Dragon missiles, each a ton of integrated propulsion fury, blast from their tubes on pillars of smoke and flame, screaming towards the sky. A piercing tone slices through Voodoo's helmet. Missile launch, 2 inbound. His own jet screams at him. On his display, 2 diamond-shaped symbols are climbing fast, closing the distance with terrifying speed. Brake right. Chaff flares now. Voodoo yells, wrenching his stick hard over. He feels the heavy force crush him into his seat as the Growler rolls onto its side and dives back towards the waves. Behind him, cartridges fire, spewing a cloud of glittering aluminum strips and burning magnesium decoys into the night air. Ringer, still at 800 feet, is a sitting duck. He follows Voodoo's brake, pushing his Hornet into a violent descent. Voodoo, I can't shake him, Thayer still tracking. Voodoo's mind works with cold precision. On it, going active. He switches his jamming pods from a broad spectrum barrage to a focused, deceptive signal designed to fool the missile seekers themselves. Singing to them now, he grunts, hoping the electronic lie is more appealing than Ringer's hot engine exhaust. In the bunker, Sunlai watches the intercept unfold. 1 missile has lost lock. It's tracking the jamming signal, she reports. On her screen, one of the red diamonds veers off course, chasing Voodoo's electronic ghost. The second missile is still tracking the higher target. Impact in 5 seconds. Captain Chen grips the console. Target is diving. It might go below the Seeker's minimum altitude gate. It's a last-ditch defense. If the Horn, it can get low enough, fast enough. The missile's own radar might not be able to look down sufficiently to see it against the sea clutter. Ringer is pushing his jet to its absolute limit, the airframe groaning in protest. The altimeter is a blur, unwinding towards 0. 300 feet, 200, the missile is almost on him. He sees a flash of light in his rearview mirrors, brighter than anything he's ever seen. Then, a concussive boom rocks his aircraft. It's not a direct hit. The missile's proximity fuse detonated just off his left wing. The explosion sends a wave of razor, sharp shrapnel tearing through the Hornet's fuselage. A dozen red and amber lights flash across his console. Left engine fire, aid, 1 fail, flight control degraded. The stick goes sluggish in his hand, feeling disconnected. The jet yaws violently to the left as the damaged engine sputters and dies. Im hit, Ringer yells, fighting the controls. Left engine is out, hydraulics are going. Voodoo, having evaded his own pursuer, swings his Growler around, his stomach dropping as he sees the trail of black smoke pouring from Ringer's Hornet. Talk to me, Ringer, fly the jet, trying to. She wants to roll over on me. Ringer is wrestling with an aircraft that is actively trying to kill him. But the fight isn't over. Hunter 3, the pilot who had inadvertently blocked Ringer's shot, now has a Y, open lane. He saw the SAM launch, he saw his leader get hit, and his targeting pod has a perfect, unobstructed view of the Dragon's Eye radar dish, still radiating energy as it guides the one remaining missile. Hunter 3 is in, the pilot announces, his voice laced with cold fury. Target is the emitter. Magnum, another game, 80. 8 harm missile leaps from his wing. This time its target is shining like a lighthouse in the radio frequency spectrum. There is no rebooting now. No hiding, the missile seeker has a solid, unwavering lock. In the bunker, Sunlai sees the new threat materializing. Inbound anti-radiation missile, high speed, we have to shut down, no time, Chen shouts. The missile is already in the basket, too close to be evaded. Brace for impact. The harm screams down from the sky at over Mach 2. It doesn't aim for the bunker, but for the source of the signal, the 30-foot-wide parabolic radar dish on the hillside above them. The impact is not an explosion, but a kinetic sledgehammer blow. 300 pounds of metal and high explosives vaporize the delicate transmitter and shred the dish into 1,000 pieces. Inside the bunker, the lights flicker violently, the main display screens go black, replaced by a single ominous message, signal lost, emitter fault. The ears of the Sea Dragon have been torn off. The roar of the static is replaced by an unnerving, profound silence. Sunlai stares at the dead screen. Captain, we are blind and deaf. They still have 3 missile launchers loaded, but without the Dragon's Eye radar to guide them, they are nothing more than metal tubes. They have no way to find, track, or engage a target. The attack, from their perspective, is over. Their impenetrable fortress has been broken in under 5 minutes. For Ringer, the battle has just shifted from offense to survival. Okay, I have control, he says, his breathing ragged. He's managed to tame the jet's death. Roll by applying full right rudder. Fire is out, but leaking hydraulic fluid like a sieve. Flight controls are on emergency backup. Copy that. Voodoo says, pulling his growler up alongside Ringer's wounded bird. The sight is grim. The left horizontal stabilizer is shredded, and a gaping hole is torn in the wing root, trailing a misty plume of vaporized fuel and hydraulic fluid. What's your fuel state? Ringer checks the gauge. The number is dropping fast. Showing 8,000 pounds, but the gauge is flickering. I think the tank is punctured. Voodoo, I'm not going to make the tanker. The rendezvous point with the 135 Stratotanker is over 300 miles away. Even with one good engine, the drag from the damaged airframe and the fuel leak make it an impossible distance. Okay, Ringer, stay calm, Voodoo says, his own mind racing, calculating options. Hunter Flight, what's your status? Hunter 3 and 4 are weapons free, egressing the area, comes the reply. We have the bunker on infrared, no secondary explosions. We think we only got the radar. That's good news for the mission, but it doesn't help Ringer. Voodoo, declare an emergency, Ringer states, his voice eerily professional. My fix is failing. I'm going to have to punch out. Ejecting into the hostile waters of the South China Sea in the middle of the night is a death sentence. The rescue teams are hours away. Negative, Ringer, not yet, Voodoo counters, his authority unwavering. There's an alternate, a divert field, Puffin's Roost. It's a short landing strip on a friendly island about 80 miles from here. It's not ideal, but it's our only shot. Puffin's Roost is little more than a paved strip of coral used for emergency logistics, with no arrestor cables for a carrier jet. Landing a crippled Super Hornet there would be incredibly dangerous. 80 miles? Ringer repeats, watching his fuel counter bleed away. That's still tight, him losing about 200 pounds a minute. A quick calculation tells him he has maybe 40 minutes of flight time if he's lucky. The 80-mile flight would take them nearly 20 minutes. It leaves him a small margin, but no room for any more failures. We're doing it, Voodoo states. I'm with you all the way. Put me on your wing. It'll talk you down. He positions his growler just off Ringer's right side, close enough that Ringer can see his helmet in the dim cockpit light. A silent, steady presence in the vast, dark emptiness of the sky and sea. The 4 jets, once a hunter, killer package, are now a rescue mission. Hunter 3 and 4 take up a protective position above and behind. their radars scanning for any sign of enemy fighters that might be scrambled to intercept the crippled jets. Voodoo and Ringer, flying low and slow to conserve every drop of fuel, point their noses towards Puffin's roost. Every vibration in Ringer's airframe, every flicker of a warning light, is a countdown to disaster. The battle against the Sea Dragon is over. The battle for survival has just begun. The 90-mile journey is an eternity. For Ringer, the cockpit is a chamber of failing systems. The gentle hum of the right engine is a lone survivor in a chorus of alarms, and the unnerving shudder of the damaged airframe. He flies with his feet, constantly feeding in right rudder to counteract the dead weight and twisted metal on his left side. Fuel state 7,000 pounds, he reports, his voice flat. He's trying to keep the emotion out, to be a machine. But the machine he's flying is dying. Copy 7,000, Voodoo replies, his own growler a steady shadow just 50 feet away. Attitude is good, Ringer, you're holding her steady. Puffin's roost is on the nose, 70 miles. Inside the Dragon's Tooth bunker, the emergency lights cast long, dancing shadows. The silence is unnerving. Lieutenant Sun Lai has run a full diagnostic. The result is brutally simple. The emitter array is gone, Captain, she says, her voice regaining its professional composure. The waveguide is severed, the dish itself is structurally compromised, Dragon's Eye is completely offline, we have no active guidance capability. Captain Chen nods slowly, his eyes on the blank screen where the fate of his command was decided, and the launchers. Still operational, we could launch in a passive home, on jam mode if the enemy transmits, or on a pre-programmed ballistic trajectory, but against a maneuvering target, it would be pure luck. He understood. Their sword was sharp, but they were now blindfolded. Chen keys his microphone to the regional command net. Sky Guardian, this is Sea Dragon. We have been engaged. I repeat, we have been engaged by hostile aircraft. Our primary fire control radar is destroyed. We assess one enemy aircraft damaged. Possibly downed, we have expended 2 missiles. Awaiting further orders, he releases the key, the first report of failure. The hardest one a commander ever has to make. 60 miles from safety, Ringer's master caution light flashes again. 8 too low, the secondary hydraulic system is now bleeding out. Voodoo, losing 8-2, Ringer says. His voice is still calm, but Voodoo can hear the strain. The backup system is failing. Soon, the only thing moving his control surfaces will be a primitive mechanical linkage with all the grace of a tractor pull. Roger that. How are the controls? Heavy. Getting heavier. Ringer grits his teeth. The stick feels like it's set in hardening concrete. Every minor correction requires a full body effort. Fuel is 6,000 pounds. I think the leak is getting worse. Almost there, buddy. Just a little longer. Voodoo switches his radio. Puffin's Roost Tower, this is Voodoo 1. We are inbound with an emergency. Super Hornet, battle damage, single engine, probable hydraulics failure. Request straight. In approach runway is clear. Have the crash crew on standby. A calm voice replies instantly. Voodoo 1, Puffin's Roost copies all. The field is yours. Crash and rescue are standing by. Wind is calm. Good luck. 20 miles out, the dim, lonely lights of the short runway at Puffin's Roost appear, a thin line of hope sketched on the black ocean. I have the field, Ringer says. Okay, lowering the gear. He moves the gear handle down. He hears a clunk as the 2 main wheels lock into place, but the light for the nose gear remains stubbornly red. Gear unsafe, nose gear's not down, Voodoo, Ringer reports. I've got an unsafe indication. Voodoo eases his growler in closer, below Ringer's Hornet, trying to get a visual. Can't see it, Ringer, it's too dark. You'll have to assume it isn't locked. Prepare for a nose. Gear up landing, keep the nose up as long as you can after touchdown. This is the final failure. A landing without nose gear on a short runway is a barely controlled crash. Roger that, Ringer says. There is no other option. Here we go. He lines up on the runway. He's too fast. With the damaged flight controls, he can't risk getting slow and losing what little authority he has left. He's fighting the rudder, fighting the stick, fighting a 15-ton jet that wants to fall out of the sky. Voodoo flies formation with him, a helpless angel on his shoulder. You're looking good, Ringer, a little fast but stable. Altitude 500 feet, 400, keep this glide path, 300. Ringer's world has shrunk to the glowing symbols of his head, up display, and the approaching rectangle of lights. He feels the main gear touch the runway. It's not a gentle kiss, it's a brutal slam. The Hornet bounces once hard, threatening to shear the landing gear off completely. He fights to keep the wings level as the jet settles back onto the concrete. He holds the stick back, keeping the nose high, using the ailerons as a massive air brake. The jet screams down the runway, tires smoking. He's running out of pavement. He feels the nose start to drop, the hydraulics finally giving up the ghost. Brace, 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 he mutters. The nose of the Hornet slams into the runway. A shower of brilliant white sparks erupts as titanium and steel grind against the concrete. The jet slews violently to the left, skidding off the pavement and digging into the soft sand and coral at the runway's edge. It spins in a cloud of dust and steam before finally, shuddering, it comes to a stop, silence, then the canopy blasts open. Ringer scrambles out, dropping onto the wing and sliding to the ground, running on pure adrenaline. Within seconds, fire trucks are there, dousing the smoking wreck in a layer of white foam. Voodoo circles once overhead, watching the scene. He sees Ringer on his feet, clear of the aircraft. He keys his mic. Puffin's Roost, Voodoo 1. Emergency aircraft is on the ground. Pilot is out. He takes a deep, shuddering breath of his own. Coming in to land. An hour later, the dawn breaks, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. The crippled Super Hornet sits in a bed of foam, its nose crushed, its back broken. It will never fly again. Alex Voodoo Kenna stands on the tarmac next to Jake Ringer Gallo, who is wrapped in a blanket, a cup of coffee shaking slightly in his hand. They watch the ground crew begin the long process of securing the wreckage. "You owe me a beer," Ringer says, his voice hoarse. Voodoo manages a weak smile. It's a good trade. They can build a new jet. The mission report would be a mixed analysis. Tactical success, the A-29, the Plasguardian of the South, was confirmed neutralized, its critical fire control radar destroyed. The electronic shield was broken, strategic cost, one A-18E Super Hornet, value $65 million, a total loss. But the human cost was zero. Every pilot was coming home. From the silent bunker on Dragon's Tooth Island, Captain Chen would oversee the recovery of the HARM missile fragments, delivering a meticulous report on the enemy's tactics, the low-level ingress that exploited the radar horizon, the perfectly timed electronic attack, and the ruthless efficiency of the final, kinetic kill. His unit had been bloodied, but they had learned. The quiet of the new morning is a stark contrast to the violence of the night. The sea is calm again, the only sound the gentle lapping of waves on the shore. The first battle for Dragon's Tooth was over, decided not just by billion-dollar machines, but by a handful of feet in altitude, a 90-second reboot, and the iron will of a pilot refusing to give up on a dying aircraft. The war for these waters was far from over, but for one night, the attackers had proven that nothing is impenetrable. Thank you for hearing this story. I would love to hear your thoughts on the pilot's decisions in the comments below. What moment surprised you most? Did the constraints decide the battle or the people? Let's meet in the comments. If you enjoyed the tension and realism of this story, please consider supporting the channel with a super thanks so I can continue bringing you more tales of modern military operations and survival. Look on the screen now for another story about a high-stakes mission, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one.